I'll get it going in a second. I'll get it fixed. Hold on. Stand by. Might as well just leave this on. Why you gotta do me like this, Zoom Mike? Here we go. 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 There it is. Oh, hi, friends. My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Live streaming is hard. Welcome to Monday Q&A. What else did I say? I thought I was getting slick with the little intro music being linked to the one scene in OBS, and I forgot to link it to the other scene. That was the first fail of the night, and then the other fail of the night is that at complete random, OBS loses connection, loses sync. I don't know why it does it, but every once in a while the mic just doesn't work. And I have to delete it and reset it, and don't be a live streamer, kids. It's really aggravating. It's Monday Q&A. Hit me with your questions in the live chat. We're going to be working on some ghost stuff. We've got to put the Ripsqueak back together over here and figure out what on earth is going on with this toothpick. And, yeah, maybe we can get them both up in the air. Ghost is updated. The receivers are connecting. The things are moving in. Actually, you know what? I bet you Ghost is not working on the Ripsqueak because I put it on the pads that I thought that it should be going on. So I'm probably gonna have to do some soldering on the Ripsqueak, but that's okay. We'll get everything figured out. Kevin Sumner was the first one in the chat. Frank Nicholas was next. Whack FPV, Glenn Burnett, CMYK FPV, Dan Richmond, Cody SA, Fargo 252, Ed K, Jackalope, Grizz, Veritas, Weasel, Mustang Pilot, Richard, Mustang Pilot, I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. Richard, Family Guyver, Andy Plater, B-Man, Freelo Joe, Richard, Bob Noxious, Demenis, Richard Vaughn, Metal Dirskin, Family Guyver, Dan 636, North 49, Liquid Cool, got it. T-Bird FPV, Dan Richmond, North 49. If you want the gangles to read your name, get in early, type something. If you want to talk directly to me, all you've got to do, is type CiottiFPV, and it'll light up in orange like this. If you don't type CiottiFPV, I won't know that you're talking to me. I won't read your comment. You can also do super chats. This is my full-time job. I rely on support from beautiful people like you to be able to keep doing this. If you really want to support me, head on over to CiottiFPV.com. Patreon helps out the most. For $3 whole a month, you can join. That's 10 cents a day. It gets you exclusive access to a playlist here on YouTube with almost 90 Patreon-only live streams, unreleased flying, raw footage, all kinds of fun stuff. Email notifications when I stream, technical articles over on Patreon. It's well worth 10 cents a day, I promise. It'll also get you access to the Discord server. Over on the Discord server, there is a new text channel called CiottiFPV Reacts, where you can post short little videos, questions, or images that I will react to here live on stream. And you'll get to hang out with the coolest group of people in all of FPV, as far as I'm concerned. Super knowledgeable folks hanging out over in the Discord and here in the live chat. Yeah, it's a really cool crowd. There's also a Teespring store with a bunch of t-shirts with some really cool artwork on them. If you're a car fan, you'll want to take a look. There's something that you're going to dig, a la Hoonigan. There's an Etsy store, which I recently updated with a ton of new stickers and a bunch of hardware that you might like for your builds. Bunch of really useful stuff over there. For example, let me go full. I'm gonna go full turbo shill tonight. You ready? 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 Are you ready? Why do I keep doing that? How do I get to my own store? So I click this. There it is. Look it. Is that working? It's working. Look. Look, look, look. For example, these are the JST 1.25 connectors that you might need to convert a newbie drone Acro-B board to use regular motor plugs. That's pretty cool, huh? Some nuts. Some more nuts. Some of these little vibration isolating standoffs. If your build, if your flight controller would have to be hard mounted, you can use these as a last resort to not hard mount it. All kinds of stuff. Look at these super cool looking things. Fat Shark screen protectors. Look, you slot them right in there instead of inserts. Nut grabber plastic pin. Come on, you know you need a nut grabber plastic pin. Micro King keychain. Look at all this fun stuff. There's the sticker that you're gonna. There's the Hoonigan ripoff, basically. A lot of this artwork was done by CMYK FPV. If you need graphic design done, hire the man. He's amazing. Super cool dude, too. Look at all this stuff. 25mm standoffs, 23s, USB covers, don't get grass in your USB port, all kinds of good stuff. M2x5, M3x5. Yeah, great, good, not great stuff. Good stuff. Stuff that you might need for your builds. And then there's also, wait, no, this button. There's also a Fiverr page where you can do one-on-one sessions with me. We can work on your flying. If you want to fly more like I do, I can help you out in the simulator. We do a voice call via Skype or Zoom or anything really, Discord. And then we both jump into the simulator, Velocidrone typically, and you fly around, I watch you, and I watch your sticks and just give you feedback, live one-on-one feedback like I used to do with race cars at the racetracks in New Jersey. We can also do build planning sessions so that you stop buying parts that catch on fire and waste your time and money. We can also do tuning sessions so that your tune flies as good as mine. And then there's a bunch of affiliate links. If you're spending money on a website, maybe I have an affiliate link to that website. Amazon, umbagod.com, FPV Cycle, FPV Crate, Get FPV. I have affiliate links to them and a bunch more. Think about your gangly friend before you spend some FPV money. Maybe I can make 1 to 6% of that total shopping cart for free. There's no reason to not do it. CMYK tagged me and said, "What's up, collective?" Cody SA says, "What's up, collective? Taking the day off to rip whoops." Ed K says, "Made it early. Good evening, everyone." Family Guyver says, "What's up?" Bob Noxious says, "What's up?" B-Man says, "What's good?" Philojo says, "How's the collective doing?" Demenis says, "What's up, collective?" T-Bird says, "What's up?" Demenis says, "Collective in the house." Kevin Sumner says, "Do you know of TPU to put a 19mm camera in a ripsqueak?" Do I ever, Kevin? Any of the standard, any of like the regular camera mounts will work, like on Thingiverse. So if you go over to Thingiverse and you search for FPV camera mount, oh, hold on. Oh. Let's see. Why are there not what? It's like the most common thing on Thingiverse. Like everybody has it. Why? It's just like the most simple, silly little thing. Pyrodrone has them. I just want to show it to you. You've seen them before, more than likely. TPU camera. So something like this will work. Something like that'll work. Even something like this, but don't use this. This is no good. Yeah, you can find these on Thingiverse if you or somebody near you has a thing. But what's cool about this right here is this little scallop will expose the aluminum standoff. So like on the Ripsqueak, for example, if you want to use, if you want to run 35mm props on the Ripsqueak, the TPU camera mount has to look like this because the tip of the prop like skims the standoff by like a fraction of a millimeter. So if you were thinking about doing the 3.5-inch prop thing, this might be a good choice. Although this camera mount is awful low. I would rather have this camera mount sort of in the middle here, but it might still work. I mean, if you're doing an order on Pyrodrone, it's certainly worth $1.50. You're just basically looking for a camera mount where the mounting point is pretty much even with the standoff. The camera mounts that they give you are for 14mm mounts, so this part of the mount is set inboard a lot more. You can probably still use that and just like flip it around and like, you know, it's TPU, so it'll kind of conform. But yeah, that's what you're looking for. You want a mount where, you know, if this is the standoff, the TPU mounting point is dead center or just inset a little bit. The mounts that they give you, it's inset like a bunch, which is why you can flip it upside down and it'll probably just kind of stretch in and still mount that camera for you. So yeah, a couple different options for you there. Kinetic FPV says, what's the intro song called? It's called April something or other. It's from a guy that doesn't really put his music out, that contacted me on Instagram. You can't find it. He sent me the files in email. Here's all the muted. Dragon Wing says miming the show today. Den636 says, man, I need these laughs. B-Man says, hope your sign language game is on point. Cody Essay says, no lag, what a live streamer. 2 fails and 2 streams. Yeah. That's the way it works. Remember...
諦めんなよ諦めんなお前どうしてそこでやめるんだそこでもう少し頑張ってみろよダメ諦めたら周りのことを思うよ応援してる人たちのことを思ってみろってあともうちょっとのところなんだろ俺だってこのマイナス10度のところしじみが取れるって頑張ってんだよ絶対やってみろ必ず目標達成できるだからこそネバギバ
Cody Essay says, how often do you do a Patreon only stream? Not nearly as often as I should, Cody. But I've done a bunch. Yeah, I do a lot of these public live streams. The thing is too, like with the Patreon only live streams, like there's not many people in there, so the chat is kind of dead. So, and like, so it's, I don't know, it's weird. Like I try to give patrons as many benefits as possible, but I have to kind of mix that with, you know, putting stuff out to attract as many new people as possible. So I don't know. I feel like if the Patreon keeps, I mean, it's been shrinking for the last like 6 months, but I I feel like if the Patreon can keep growing and growing and growing, at a point, there will be a point where a Patreon-only stream will have enough people in it where, it can be like an active chat. But we're not at that point quite yet. Especially because, those streams happen outside of my normal scheduled streaming times. So people are like at work, they don't know about it, whatever. So yeah. Frank Nicholas says OBS issue PEBSAC. I don't know what PEBSAC is. So it looks like an acronym. PEBSAK. Veritas Weasel says OBS sucks prop nuts. I don't know. I mean, it can't suck that bad because everybody uses it. Like, all of the real live streamers use OBS. So what that tells me is that it's the best option available. It's an open source project, which I really like. We should all like. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it's... my guess is that it's hard. It's hard to build a piece of software that manages a bunch of different inputs, I guess. If it was easy, then it would work better. So, oh, thanks for the reminder, Frank. Yeah, I've been typing this into Joshua's chat, but, that doesn't have much visibility. I'm going to live stream... so Joshua's going to be gone for the next, 2 weeks. So I'm going to grab his time slots. I'm going to probably go long into my time slots. So, business as usual for you guys. But if you want a little bit more streaming, Sunday I'll go on at 1 o'clock instead of 3. And then Monday and for the next 2 Sundays and the next 2 Monday nights, I'll go on at 8 o'clock. And I'll just stream as long as I can. Maybe I can do 4 hours. If there's super chats coming in, if there's PayPals coming in, and I have tons of stuff to do, man. I have tons of builds stacked up. So yeah, maybe we'll just do 4-hour streams for a while. I don't know about taking his... What are his other time slots? He does something Tuesday night, right? And maybe Wednesday night as well? What are his time slots? Somebody tag me. I can't think of them. Quadmod says, how do you keep it real? It's actually a pretty deep question, Quadmods. I try my best to kind of just believe in myself and just but also check myself as often as possible. You guys will kind of notice, you guys might have noticed, but I'll develop an opinion on a 1304 motor. And then I won't fly a 1304 motor for a year. After a bunch of time has gone by, my brain just kind of thinks okay, I need to retest that now, to make sure that I'm still kind of dialed in, because I realize that my piloting ability changes, FPV changes, there's more, new options available, stuff like that. So I try to do that with everything kind of in life. Like when I form an opinion, that opinion kind of has a fuse almost, or not maybe an opinion, I guess. When I figure things out, or when I do things, or whatever, or when I have an opinion, it has a fuse, and I rock with it for a while, but I realize, if I've had that opinion for a while, I should revisit it to make sure it's still, coming from the best information that we have available. That's one way. I'm sure there's a bunch of different ways, but I don't know. I just try to kind of stay true to who I am, which is a statement that kind of means nothing, but I don't know. It's tough. I also listen to the smartest people that I can find, with all things, within FPV. That's Joshua Bardwell, that's UAV Tech, that's Chris Rosser, right, to name a few. so, you know, that's sort of the whole, like, surround yourself with the best sort of approach, right? And then, yeah, I'm sort of friends with a bunch of pro pilots too that I can contact whenever I want and have conversations with. So I'll you know, when there's a specific so, like, for example, right, when I started flying paying gigs last year, I just messaged Tommy and I was like, hey man, what's the, like, give me the skinny, what should I be doing, what shouldn't I be doing, give me, like, you know, a couple of suggestions. What's the minimum that I should be charging? Stuff like that. So yeah, I'm tied in with people that have a lot of experience and or knowledge, and I let that speak. You know, I put a lot of stock in their opinions rather than putting stock in shit that I read on Facebook, in Facebook groups, for example, right? So yeah, I don't know. I feel like the crushing anxiety helps because it it keeps my brain going 24/7 at 1,000 miles an hour. So it's, you know, to satiate that, it's like knowledge, more. But I don't know. Good question. Tim. I'm just gonna say Tim. What do you think about FPV Crate's 250-gram subscription boxes? I like them, Tim. We're going to do mailbag in a little bit. We're not going to open the boxes, I don't think. I think I'm going to save that for Wednesday because I'm going to do... FPV Crate actually asked me if I could assemble the... I don't want to ruin it in case you guys haven't gotten it yet. I'm going to be putting... I kind of already did by using... There's going to be an FPV Crate unboxing and assembly on Wednesday. I already said the word assemble, so you can already tell what it is. But what's in there. But yeah, so... in fairness, like, so I get the FPV Crates because they send them to me. I wouldn't personally pay for them, but... that's because I have a very specific set of parts and pieces that I run on all of my rigs. And I very specifically choose those things, right? I've been in the FPV world for 5 years, so I have all of, you know, I know exactly what I want for the way I fly, the way I build, the way I everything. For people that are in their first or second or even third years in FPV, I think the subscription boxes are great because it's like a forced excuse to keep trying new things and keep building and keep replacing and stuff like that. So I love it. I mean, you could... That's kind of all subscription boxes, though. You know what I mean? Like, subscription boxes tend to be, like, really, really good when you're just getting into something. But then after a few years, a lot of times it's kind of like, well... But what I will say gets you past that with the FPV Crate boxes is that they set you up with a schedule of stuff where you can build a rig, which is really fun. You know, January you get a flight controller, February you get an ESC, March you get a frame. This isn't how it actually works, but this is just a random example. So you keep, like, collecting pieces and you can do, like, an entire FPV Crate build, which I think that's the coolest thing ever. Especially because, like, if you do that build, there's a bunch of other people in the Craters, the FPV Craters Facebook group who are also doing the same thing. So you'll have an identical build to a bunch of other people, which is pretty slick, right? So I think it's a great idea. I think I mean, obviously FPV Crate has done a better job than anybody else because they're the only ones that still exist. So yeah, and the guys that run FPV Crate are great. They're a great group of guys. So yeah, I really dig them. I really dig what they're doing. It's hard. Like the hard part about it is that no matter what, at some point you're gonna get a crate that has something in it that you don't want, and then it's like, oh well, I wasted my money. Sure, but you know, There's a whole bunch of pros, and then that's one of the cons. You gotta weigh that out for yourself. I think for most people, there's a lot more pros than cons, and you need to expect that you're going to get a box that has stuff that you don't want, and then you can share that with friends or throw it up on FPV Exchange. So yeah, I think it's dope. You always get more value in stuff than what you pay for the box too. So if when you get something you don't want, you put it up on FPV Exchange, you're going to damn near break even. What's wrong with that? Fat Pastor says, just bought a newbie drone Hummingbird brushless. Can I get more than... I think he meant to say can't get more than 15 feet away without with video crapping out. Cam and VTX come together and is locked at 25 milliwatts. Any thoughts on what might be missing? Sounds like the antenna is missing, although that should get you more than 15. Even without an antenna, I think you should get more than 15 feet away, although maybe not. But it sounds like the antenna has either come unplugged from the AIO, or the antenna is just basically broken. Regardless, I would contact whoever you bought it from and just tell them exactly what's going on, and they'll either send you a new one or continue to troubleshoot. And yeah, get you up and running. But it sounds like the antenna's unplugged. Because even on 25 milliwatts, that should get you way more than 15 feet away, unless it's 15 feet through four concrete walls. Freelojo dropping the link to Patreon. Thank you, dude. GrizzFPV says, what about mounts for RunCam Hybrid 2 in Ripsqueak? Mine has Jello. The tune is okay. Grizz, if you have Jello, one of the things that's caused mine to have Jello is when the camera was pushed up against the top plate or the bottom plate. And if you have the BQE Ripsqueak V2 and you're running it on 28 millimeter standoffs, like I run on my V1s, that's the problem. The Ripsqueak V2 has a smaller cutout on top that doesn't work as well with the RunCam Hybrid, and you have to run 30 millimeter standoffs. What's nice is they still sell the V1 Ripsqueak, so I've just put my RunCam Hybrids all into V1 frames so that I can run the 28 millimeter standoffs. So check that. Where are we at here? Oh, YouTube just did the thing. Scrolling back up. There we go. Frank Nicholas says, most people use Windows. It doesn't mean it's the best option. Related to OBS sucks. That could be. I guess the Windows version of OBS gets all the love, and then the Mac version just... Although... I feel like a lot of people are on Mac, and a lot of creatives are on Mac, and it'd be interesting to see how many live streamers are on Mac versus PC. I bet you a lot of them are on Mac. Never know though. There's a lot of people on both, that's for sure. Chris Croft says most of these streamers are using Windows, and I'm testing OBS. And in my testing, OBS is crap on Mac OS compared to Windows. Oh, there we go. There's the answer. Frank Nicholas says, YouTube did the thing again. God damn, come on, man. Problem exists between seat and keyboard. Gotcha. Yeah, it's 99.9% of the fuck ups are 100% my fault. It's just the way it is. I'm terrible, is basically. Kevin Sumner says, JB streams news Tuesday at 6 p.m., no Wednesday. So Tuesday at 6 p.m. So he is doing the news tomorrow. So I guess next week, do me a favor, guys, remind me, because I may very well forget. Tuesday's my day off. So, yeah. Normally, Tuesday I just fuck off all day and just get a bunch of stuff done. June Logo says, you should link up with It's Blunty. This computer can't handle anything else, so I can't do that, unfortunately. B-Man says, 3 p.m. Sunday, 8 p.m. Monday, 6 p.m. Tuesday. All right, cool. Did I say 1 p.m. Sunday earlier? I meant 3 p.m. Sunday. You guys know what I meant. Kevin Sumner says, and it's Ciotti and it's Blunty do the news. Yeah, I wish there was a way that I could do that. That'd be fun. Cody SA with a $2.79 Californian Canadian super chat. He says, stoked you're taking JB stream slots. Thank you very much, Cody, for the support. Yeah, it'll be fun. That'll be interesting. I'm excited to be able to get a bunch of more time to do more building. When I'm live streaming and I start building, it's like it's hard for me to build off of the stream because I know that it's something that I typically do. It's good content for the streams. So yeah, it'll be nice to throw some more time at builds. Maybe I can get 1 or 2 knocked out. Maybe we can knock out that the digital ripsqueak, the digital ghost ripsqueak, all the meme ripsqueak, right? All the clickbait, ghost and HD0. So yeah, we'll see. Code FPV Exchange actually sent me the new Divimath camera for that build, so I'm really excited to do that build. That rig is going to be set up. It's going to be another Insta360 Go 2 carrier. It's going to be a digital Insta360 Go 2 carrying rig. It's going to be in the Ripsqueak V2 frame with... I haven't decided on motors yet. It might go on Emax 1306s, but I think I want to put something different. I don't know. We'll see. B-Man says that deadliest catch gig is that deadliest catch gig is epic. Tommy, oh my God, is up in Alaska. Well, he's probably back by now in LA. But he was up in Alaska. He got hired by Discovery Channel to fly for Deadliest Catch. And he's been doing video blogs, which have just been phenomenal. Definitely check out Oh My God's channel and watch his most recent few videos. They're great. And yeah, I mentioned on Joshua's stream right before this, I'd said, hey, any thoughts on... so on the most recent video that Tommy put up, he flew his 5-inch rig out pretty far with DJI over the water, and the video completely blacked out when he got pretty far out there and he lost the rig, which is just an absolute nightmare on a gig. Like that is really the worst thing that could possibly happen. It makes you not look great. There's potentially really valuable footage on there, right? Like one of the things that we do on gigs is every single time if there's any chance that the next battery up is going to be sketchy, you pull the memory card after every battery, and either dump to a laptop, dump to a safe spot, or just put another memory card into it. So in theory, he only lost that battery's worth of footage, but in actuality, when you're on a gig, everything that can go wrong will go wrong. So, you always forget that there's stress, there's a lot going on. That's something that you shouldn't forget, and most people don't, because it's like, your footage in those scenarios is gold, and you treat it as such. But mistakes happen, right? And so, yeah. The video blacking out thing is one of the things that scared me about DJI for a long time, and it's one of the things that's made me really not mind still being on analog. NERC has had it happen. There were reasons for it happening in both occasions, but it still happened. And that's all that matters. And that's a big, and it's a really, really big problem. GPS rescue mode, is a little bit of a liability in my opinion. Like, there have been plenty of situations on gigs where if rescue mode had turned on, somebody could have gotten hurt. Or it could have just been a total mess because it's dumb. It just rails the throttle and just shoots you straight up into the air. So if there's anything above you, or if your accelerometer is not calibrated, somebody can get really hurt. So yeah, I'm very on the fence about GPS rescue mode. It also doesn't seem like it's all that easy to turn off and on. I think that's one of my main issues with it is, like, and I could be wrong here, but it seems like you have to turn it off and on in Betaflight, which sucks. If there was a way to turn it off and on in the OSD, that would be much more realistic. But if you're on DJI, you don't have access to the full OSD, so yeah. I'm very excited to fly DJI on the test bed 5-inch rig, but I really doubt that I'll put it onto... I forget to turn this thing off again and I killed the battery. God damn it. Yeah, I won't be putting it on any working rigs anytime soon. Because, I don't know, there's some deal breakers with it that we've talked a lot about. And none of those deal breakers have really been handled. Other than the cost. One of the biggest things that's kept me away from it has been the cost. But some extremely generous people, T-Bird, FPV Exchange, to name a few, have sent me some DJI stuff. So yeah, definitely not switching to it because a ton of problems still exist with it. But very, very excited to fly it around and get some freestyle footage with it. You know, if nothing else, it would be cool if I could have like 1 or 2 freestyle rigs up on it and maybe this toothpick actually on a naked Vista that T-Bird sent. That would be super fun. But yeah, I don't know about it for everything else. There's some serious problems with it that we talk about way too often, so I'm not going to get into them. Schizophrenic FPV says in December they sent out a 30x30 flight controller that doesn't have a current target in Betaflight. Really? You mean in Betaflight release candidate or in Betaflight 4.2? If there's not a target in 4.3, I mean, that's fine. You can't expect all the target. That's a Betaflight problem. That's not an FPV Crate problem. But if it doesn't have a target in 4.2, that's a little weird. I'm surprised they're usually on top of stuff. Let them know. Email their customer support and let them know that, because yeah, I'm sure they'll get on top of that. Fat Pastor with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, here is your last $5 to get Mobula 6 ELRS. Love to hear your take on it. Thank you very much, Fat Pastor. Did I order it already? I meant to order it. I think I ordered it. Did I order it? I think I ordered it already. Hold on, let's see. Yes, my FPV. Let's see where it is. Track your shipment. I am so excited to fly this thing. Fat Pastor, thanks so much for the support, man. YouTube takes 30% of my live chat, so your $5 goes towards the overlords, the Google overlords. Expect delivery by Wednesday, the 2nd of February at 9 p.m. Very cool. You guys won't have to wait very long. I got a, is there anything on here that you guys can't see? Shouldn't see? Nah, it should be good. Did that work? Yeah, it did. So I got the Mob 6 ELRS. Hey, we're going to talk about ELRS in a minute here with on Mailbag when we do a mailbag opening. I got one of these Vaz Minion UFL antennas just to see if it's any more durable than some of the other UFL antennas. And if you ever do an order from my FPV store, these guys and Aloft or Aloft Hobby are the only ones that have these FR Sky QX7 switches. suggest if you're a hardcore QX7 person like me because you have giant hands and that's the only transmitter that fits properly in your hands, buy yourself some extra switches. Your switches are absolutely going to wear out, and fresh switches are so nice. And like, God forbid they ever stop making or carrying or selling these, yeah, that'll suck, because there still isn't another radio that works with my gangly ass hands. So yeah, do yourself a favor and snag some extra switches and just keep them. Just throw them in your box. They're only a couple bucks. And yeah, you can thank me later. 661 says, don't get the Mobula 6 ELRS, get the Mobula 7 ELRS 1S. I disagree, 661. I think the Mobula 7 ELRS 1S is a bit of a dog. It does not have the right motors on it for 75mm motor to motor. And frankly, I don't think that the 75mm motor to motor is the way to go. I've done a ton of testing over the past like month or so, 65 versus 75, and there's just nothing that 75 does any better than 65 other than flight time. It's bigger props are more efficient. So it's going to be a little bit more efficient, but who cares about flight time on tiny whoops, unless you're doing like racing stuff. But then I think they force you to run either 65 or 75. So yeah, 75 just and man, I have tried. I have tried to get these 75mm whoops to perform as good as the 65s, and they just don't. It's just not. For flying tight spaces inside hardcore freestyle, doing like, really gnarly tricks that are incredibly difficult to do, the lightweight of 65, like that is the benefit of the 65s being lighter weight outweighs everything about the 75. And yeah, it's just, in my opinion and in my experience, it's just better. Maybe there's a pilot that's better at flying tiny whoop freestyle than me, who can make a 75 work better. But yeah, I certainly have yet to find anything that the 75s do better than the 65s, other than runtime. And I just don't care about runtime. Just buy extra batteries. The batteries are so cheap. That just spend an extra 15, 20, 25 bucks on batteries and you'll have a better flying rig that makes you happier. GrizzFPV says, I have 30mm standoffs, made sure it's not touching top or bottom. So then at that point, Grizz, you've probably got a bent motor shaft. Take the props off. Go into the motors tab. You've probably seen me do this before. Spin the motors up individually. I bet you one motor will be vibrating a lot harder than the others. Also, make sure that your arms aren't delaminated. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure you're a patron, Grizz. Over on Patreon, one of the perks is the technical articles that I've posted. If you hit Tech Talk at the top of the Patreon page, you'll find a Tech Talk article calling out troubleshooting motor heat. And there's a step by step all the different things that can cause excess motor heat. That's the same thing as what causes jello. So you can just work through that tech article one by one. I have them ordered in like order of most common. So the first thing is the most common, the second thing is the second most common. Bang, 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 bang. You just work down that list, and eventually I bet you the jello will go away. You'll find your issue. Frank Nicholas says, JB explicitly stated he will not be doing the Tuesday news with the Tuesday news, and its Blunty won't be doing it either. You talking about tomorrow? Okay, so I guess I'm streaming tomorrow at, what was it, 6? Somebody tagged me again, told me it's 6. Kevin Sumner says you can do the news with its Blunty from the M1. I can't, because the M1's not set up yet, and I don't even know how to do it. I would have to have. It's just not going to happen. 661 says. Don't get the bind and fly Mobula 6 CLRS. It comes with 0702 motors that suck for the weight of the quad. I'm surprised to hear that. The winner of Whooptopia was apparently flying that rig, so they can't suck that bad. And I've heard nothing but good things about the 0807. This is actually the first I've ever heard anything negative about the 0702s. Just buy the flight controller and build with motors you like. 0802, 25,000 kV. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying something different with it. And it would make a great giveaway kind of thing if it comes to that. But yeah, I'm shocked. I've literally only heard good things about the Mobula 6 ELRS. 661 says, when Tommy lost that quad, he said it was a range test flight, so he wasn't filming for the show at the moment. Nice, and it failed, lol. Well, that's good to hear. I love that he didn't lose a GoPro in the sea. That's mega. Gamma Gonad says, he didn't tag me, but I just happened to see it. Analog can be sketchy as shit too. You can easily lose one over water, flying far over water with both. While that's true, that's I don't necessarily think that that's right. Analog gets sketchy in a progressive manner, and it comes back, which Tommy actually mentioned. DJI, when it blacks out, it's game over. If the rig is close enough for you to see it, then you have some chance of flying it home line of sight. Tommy was not. So you punch it out into the clouds, and then what? The battery goes dead eventually, and it falls into the ocean somewhere other than where you last saw it. So with DJI, it actually makes sense to just let it go in and try to find it, because the video ain't coming back. Analog will come back. Shark Bite will come back if you do a big punch out, or just get it from whatever obstructed the signal. Also, you know, the reason why somebody said that it went in is that the cameras on the ship were blasting 5.8. That wouldn't have happened at all on Analog. If Tommy had been on Analog, he would have flown that rig home, and then he would have probably gotten that shot for the show, and that would have been pretty cool. That was a beautiful shot that he was working on there. So yeah, I mean, this is a perfect example of a big problem with DJI. You know, Analog functions on a frequency that there are still cameras on, right? But again, you're going to get a gradual fading away, and then if you do a humongous punch out, you're going to get far enough away from those cameras to get your video back. So yeah, Analog, it's just another kind of thing. I don't know. Kevin Sumner says, can you show how you've got some of your receivers strapped into your ripsqueaks? I'm having a tough time getting this RX into this build. I just zip tie them to the VTX in the back, and then I either VHB them to the bottom plate, or sometimes I'll put them up vertically and just run a zip tie around the rear standoffs, and that just holds the little thingy, the little, you know, bundle of those two boards vertically. They're so lightweight that, like, if you have them, hell, there was a while where I actually didn't even have them retained. I had so I've got a piece of TPU to hold the VTX antenna, and then that antenna went to the VTX, and just that little connection there was firm enough, and I just VHB'd the receiver to the back of the VTX, and it was totally fine. It was, I didn't like it because it was vibrate. Well, you know what? It's actually this rig. It's this rig that I've now torn apart. I didn't like it because there was a potential of it vibrating around, but it flew totally fine. Now that I'm putting a different receiver in here, I'm sticking them to the base plate. I really like the idea of just VHB on the base plate, stick it down to that, VHB on top of it, stick it down to that. Your VTX, your receiver are good to go. Nice little bundle. Nice and lightweight. No nonsense. Easy to fix, easy to repair. You know, you don't have some wacky one-off elegant solution where it's mounted where if it fucks up in the field, you gotta wait until you get home to fix it. You know, it's VHB and/or zip ties. Good to go. Easily repairable. YouTube did the thing again. Scrolling back up. Big FPV says, I mean, everyone uses it in commercial gigs, do they not? Certainly not everyone. Sometimes I feel like it's most people, though. The big issue that I have is that for whatever reason, the gigs that I've been on, the directors of photography, the directors, the assistant photography, whoever I'm working directly with, 50% of the time, they don't want to be standing right next to me. So on DJI, what that means is you have to drag around an entire second set of the DJI helmet. That's how big it is. It's not even goggles anymore. It's a helmet. You have to drag around an entire second set, which is $500 and something. And then to look professional, you have to also have the $800 smart controller. And then, and yeah, I mean, that's just an absurd amount of money. It's an absurd amount of extra shit to have to drag around with you. I can't afford it, and I just don't want to be packing up like that heavy. I don't want to have that much stuff. Also, to be brutally honest, I'm doing gigs in like downtown Atlanta in like sometimes kind of sketchy, weird places. So if I can have, you know, $1,200-$1,300 less shit on me, yeah, I'm gonna have $1,200 less stuff on me. So yeah, and there's a handful of other issues, but yeah, I'm actually really surprised how many people are using them on commercial shoots, because that's not the only issue. That's one of the biggest issues for me personally, but that's not the only issue. It's strange. I don't know. There's a lot of benefits to it, but there's a lot of negatives to it. And for me personally, the negatives outweigh the positives. Everybody has to do that. Everybody has to do their own version of that, though, right? So the guys that are flying it, the benefits outweigh the negatives. We are not in a situation where every single person that flies professional gigs runs DJI. That is absolutely not true. It couldn't be farther from the truth, to be honest. Frank Nicholas says, FUD, DJI, a ton of problems still exist with it. Correct. Schizophrenic FPV says, the flight controller they shipped is locked on 4.1. So there's not a 4.2 target? That's wild. Which flight controller is that? Jesus. Emailed the customer support and they told me I was wrong. LOL. Which flight controller is that? I'll plug it in right now. 661 FPV says, did you get a ELRS module? Good timing, 661. Thank you for that perfect little opportunity to launch into Mailbag. Hey, that's Muddy Carmod's little thing. Go like their channel. They're amazing. One of the best channels on YouTube. This is a bag from Beta FPV. They reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to try our ELRS stuff? I said, sure. I said it just like that, too. Through an email. It was weird. I had to type it with, like, uppercase and lowercase. So they sent me two, actually, of their new 1-watt ELRS receivers. One for giveaway, one for me. And then they also sent one of their receivers. They didn't... I thought they'd said they were going to send the receiver with a flat antenna on it. But they have actually sent a receiver with a little tiny Immortal T. So I think it looks like they sent me the wrong receiver. But that's fine. I'll still use it. I don't necessarily know if I'll use it on a tiny whoop, though. Let's see what this antenna weighs. I've always kind of wondered what these Immortal T antennas weigh. Let's take a look. So the receiver itself is probably the same half a gram or whatever the hell all of the ELRS receivers are with the ceramic antennas. But we'll check it anyway. 0.7, yeah, super lightweight. 0.7 of a gram. With the antenna, oh my god, that antenna is heavy for a tiny whoop. The antenna's a gram. So 1.7 grams for the receiver and the antenna. Eesh. That's kind of heavy. I don't think I'm going to put this on a tiny whoop in that case. I think this is going to go into a Well, I don't know what I'm going to put this in. I wasn't planning on putting ELRS into anything other than the Tiny Whoops. So, I don't know. I mean, I could put it into a Ripsqueak, but they pretty much all have Crossfire by now. And I actually like Crossfire at the moment better because it's 900. Yes, you can get ELRS in 900, but that's not what this is. So I don't know where I'm gonna put this. I had asked for the one of the ones with the ceramic antenna, and then they said that they were coming out with an even lighter receiver with a built-in flat antenna, they called it. But that is not in the box. But that's okay. I'll snag a couple of the ceramic antenna receivers on a on whatever the next order that I do is. So I hope I'm not supposed to not be showing this. They didn't make me sign an NDA, so I don't think that showing you this, and I also don't think that they changed anything on it other than the color. But this is their new 1 watt module. Hopefully it doesn't have the weird problems that man, Joshua shredded the 500 milliwatt module, rightfully so. The problems that he'd said it has seem to be pretty real. But yeah, hopefully this doesn't have those same problems. We'll see. Thank you very much, CiottiFPV, for sending this over. This you know, helps me get up in the air on ELRS. And there's a little antenna in here, little cable for updating it, I guess. And a little MMCX to SMA. So this is super cool. I can't wait to check this out. I just got to get some of the I just got to get some lightweight receivers. Yeah, this is 1.7 grams, and that's too heavy for a Tiny Whoop. So we'll get that figured out. They also sent a couple of I told them, like, you know, anything else that you send over, and I'll put it in giveaways and blah, 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 blah. So they sent a little stack of stickers. Whatever. Stickers look like that. And they sent it's a goggle lanyard. Transmitter neck strap. Yeah. Little neck strap here, and then 2 neck straps, actually. A more colorful one. So these will end up in the giveaways. These stickers will also end up in the giveaways. One of these modules will end up in the giveaways as well. And the other one I will use. Hell, maybe I'll give this away, because no, I'm gonna hang on to this, because there'll probably be a point where I bail on Ghost. So this is the only Ripsqueak that no, I was thinking about building that other Ripsqueak on Ghost. I should probably just build one on Ghost, because eventually I'll get off of Ghost. These guys all have Crossfire and Nanos, which will stay. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this, because this is gonna end up in... Oh, no, right, the new Ripsqueak is gonna be on ELRS, of course. This is the Ripsqueak that's on Ghost. That Ripsqueak is gonna go on ELRS. When I bail on Ghost at some point, I'll move this Ripsqueak over to another ELRS receiver, or back to Crossfire, whatever, it's fine. But yeah, I'm not gonna build another rig on Ghost, because I just don't see a future with Ghost, to be completely honest. And it sounds mean and bad, but it's just the truth. What is this? Why is there an RXSR in here? Where's that bag for that there Ripsqueak? There it is. Yeah, I gotta remind myself of this. So I'm taking the oh, it's a Crossfire Nano I put in there. Look at me. Being all prepared and shit. Yeah, so this is the build bag for that the next Ripsqueak. I'm also gonna move this up to the front. And I'm gonna take this Crossfire Nano and shove it up my... I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to eat it. That's what I'm going to do with it. What I'm going to do is take these both out of here. Put this here, and move this over here. There we go. Okay. So that was our little Beta FPV mail. Again, shout out to Beta FPV for sending that over. It's very cool of them. Got something from WOM FPV in the mail. WOM FPV is probably in the chat hanging out. He shot me another couple of these Insta360 Go Goober mounts. He did a serious redesign on these where he moved the Insta360 Go forward and down. I think his version of this mount is now just about perfect. He used Newbie Drone's model as a starting point, and then he kind of built on it from there. And I think this is really perfect. I think that this now has the camera. So with the Newbie Drone mount, the original Newbie Drone mount put the camera pretty much like right where my, let me show you, right where my fingernail is right now. That would be the center point. It was centered. So when you look at the CG of the quad, the camera was pretty far back behind the center of gravity, right? And then the other problem is it would pick up the front tip of the front ducts when flow state was really working hard to do stabilization. So I had originally asked WOM if he could move the mount forward a little bit, which he did here. This is the one. Oh, wait, I have it. I have the, yeah, oh, perfect. So here's the original one. That's the original one that they made for the Insta360 Go 1, the original Insta360 Go 1. WOM made the mount bigger to work with the Insta360 Go 2, and then I asked him to shift it forward as well. So here's the shifted forward one. You see the difference? Right? So he shifted it forward on this one, and then and that made the situation a little bit better. It's almost, the camera is almost dead center, but it's not. It's still back a little bit. Like my index finger is where I would want the middle of the camera to be. So now these new ones push the camera forward even more, so less duct in view, and it should be even more centered. So better performance and less duct in view. And yeah, so now I think that this mount is done, and WOM FPV can put it up on his Thingiverse, or maybe send me the file, whatever he wants to do, so that you guys can get it, because being able to carry an Insta360 Go 2 around on a tiny whoop is about the coolest thing ever. And there's going to be some fun stuff coming from that. Oh, that's right. I need to fix this. Whoop Wednesday, we're going to fix this this broken Cockroach 75, and we're going to move this rig onto the iFlight Zing 0803 motors to see if it does any better. Hey, Quad 66 actually just did something that hasn't been done much. Hey, WOM, thanks so much for these, man. This is super rad. Much appreciated. Quad 66 did some logging on a tiny whoop with an open logger, and did a really good job of breaking it all down and doing a tune with it. And I'm going to be playing around with that tune to see if I can clean these rigs up a little bit. I think I may have been misunderstanding peak FFT. I had heard Mark Spatz, I swear, I might be imagining this, but I swear I heard Mark Spatz, UAV Tech, say that in your OSD, at the end of a flight, the peak FFT was the maximum hertz, the maximum vibration value that the rig saw in the motor band. So I was setting the top of my dynamic notch a little bit above that. The results that Quad 66 got with his motor band in the waterfall are not showing that, and apparently I should have that. I should have the top of my dynamic filter a lot higher. He also found that the dynamic filters, for some strange reason, are doing a better job than RPM filtering on tiny whoops. That's actually really good news, because RPM filtering is much more processor intensive, and we're running out of processor on these tiny whoops now because ELRS is also processor intensive. So yeah, I'm gonna be. His tune is really interesting. So I'm gonna be putting some of the things that I learned from watching his most recent video into practice on a couple of these tiny whoops to see if I can clean them up a little bit, because the two 65 millimeter whoops that we freestyle really hard over at Maggie's, they're getting the shit kicked out of them, so they can use all the help that they can get with filtering. So yeah, that's exciting. I'm definitely check out Quad 66. Great channel, super knowledgeable guy. Low production value, but who cares? The info is there. The info is what we want, right? We're not, you don't watch me because I'm attractive. You watch me because I say interesting shit, some of which is factual. 661 says, I'm guessing CiottiFPV will be swapping to Oido 2 25,000 kV soon. This rig that's coming, if it's, I don't know, we'll see. Michael Blade says, what's up, bro? Frank Nicholas says, yes, tomorrow. No JB news tomorrow, February 1st. Kevin Sumner says, JB is doing news tomorrow. Yeah, I thought so. JB is doing news tomorrow, no news next Tuesday. Yeah, that's what I thought. So yeah, next week. 661 says, I'm super surprised you haven't heard anything bad about the 0702s. Every review about them said the motors sucked. Angry Don prototyped those motors for a 16-gram rig. Well, we'll see on Wednesday. Frank Nicholas says, DJI gets sketchy in a known manner bitrate and it comes back not as fast as analog. I've heard that it doesn't come back. Tommy said that. Nurk also said that. And I think Joshua also said that on the previous stream. I'll know soon enough. I'm gonna make DJI fail to see what it does when it fails. I have a mega church spot with a huge parking lot, and nobody's ever in it, of course, because it's church. So I usually fly like way out in the parking lot, and if I fly around and back behind the building, there's no shot anything will ever make it back there. So I'm gonna do that's what I'm gonna use, and so I can fly really low to the ground back behind the building. So when it lets go, I just disarm and the quad flops 2 feet down, and I just drive and get it. So yeah, I'm gonna push DJI to the point where it lets go and see what it does. Fargo, so I'll know soon enough exactly what the behavior is. Fargo 252 says, what ELRS module did you go with? The Beta FPV. I'm guessing this is before we did the little unboxing. I just got the Happy Model Pro and got it set up, but haven't had the chance to fly it yet. I think I've heard that the Happy Model Pro is the one that all of the devs are using and recommend. Don't quote me on that, but I think I've heard that. GrizzFPV says, from fresh build, CiottiFPV to now, motor's good. Tried several props. Dow prop did the best, but still has a little jello. Thought it would be cam mounts from weight of the cam. Damn, yeah, I've tried a couple of different camera mounts, and I've not had jello issues. What motors are you running, Grizz? I'm pretty sure that you're running one of the sort of like approved or whatever motors. All the arms are strong. None of the arms are starting to delam. I just had that issue. Frank Nicholas says, again, the shot was not for the show, a test flight. He didn't know the ship was blasting 5.8 more FUD. I'm guessing that was posted before we talked that through all the way. Come on, where are we at? Brandon McBean says, with GPS rescue, I don't really sweat losing DJI unless I'm doing some below the tree line stuff at long range, which is risky. Metal Dirtskin says, analog and DJI frequency bands are basically the same. I did not know that. I don't think I realized that. Huh. I wonder how Analog would have performed in that situation. No, I know how Analog would have performed in that situation. It would have gotten more and more fuzzy as he got closer to the ship, and then at some point he would have said to hell with it and either turned around, or he could have just done a punch out. So yeah, he would have gotten the quad back, and he would have been able to do that shot, right? Like, I'm assuming that they packed it up and just didn't. I mean, we'll see, because I know we'll all watch the show for Tommy's Flying, right? So we'll see if he was able to get that shot. Interesting. Metal Dirt's, we got that. Frank Nicholas says, Metal Dirt Skin at Ciotti, yep. Chuck King FPV says, if you get a chance, could you check out the cover photo on the BQE Facebook page and tell me your thoughts on that ripsqueak? Mine. Usually for... Thanks for the opportunity to plug. Usually for reactions, you've got to join my Patreon and head on over to the Discord channel. There's a text channel called CiottiFPV Reacts. But cover photo on the BQE Facebook page. Let's drive into their Facebook group. Facebook group or Facebook page? If it's Facebook group, it looks super clean. You got to get some DAL 3028s on there though, because they sell them in that same Tiffany blue, and you can like perfectly match up the propellers to the TPU. That's my only gripe. Other than that, the build looks super clean. It's got an AIO, which, you guys all know that I absolutely despise, but, yeah. Clean-ass build. Good-looking rig. Bob Noxious says, I love CiottiFPV on double speed. Frank Nicholas says, directors and viewing FPV video seems to work for others who earn their living using DJI. Yeah, it's true. And I shouldn't talk about any of this shit, like I barely earn a living, like... I mean, it's just another example of me not knowing shit, right? But you guys are used to that by now. You know that I'm full of dog shit. They do have to be anywhere. They do not have to be anywhere near you. Minimum another set of goggles wherever they want. Yeah, we've already talked through that. Big FPV says, I understand just conversation. Frank Nicholas says, I agree. You have to use what works for you, but you must consider DJI works just fine for others earning a living with it. Yeah, it's true, and they're way more successful than I am. So I should switch. I really should take out a business loan and do whatever I need to do to switch. But that's just not. I don't know. I'm dumb. I'm just a dumb person. That's really what it comes down to. Metaskin says FUD equals fear, uncertainty, doubt. That's true. I actually know that acronym. I totally forgot it. Schizophrenic says Hack RC F430D. I have one of those floating around. Let's see. F430D. Where is that? Right? That's what you said, right? F430D. Hold on. Let's find it. Oh, is this it? Nope. This is the F453OD. Shit, I don't have it. You know what? I think I might have done a giveaway with it on the 24-hour stream. Damn it. Well, that sucks. I really wanted to test that. Didn't I put a couple of those? Damn. I would have loved to have checked that out. Email him again and tell him that that Ciotti said, I don't know. Tell him that that Ciotti said to email them again or something. What's the target? What's the target called? Schizophrenic. What's the what's the Oh! Schizophrenic corrected himself. F530D. So I do have one. Wait, what? F4530. 4530D. Yep, this is it. Okay. Here we go. Oh, it's the new USB, of course. I always plug in the old USB cable. Hold on. All right, let's take a look here. Ow. Here we go. So we've got HKF405. Oh yeah, that sounds like a specific target. Let's try auto detect. Auto detect doesn't always work. Nah, auto detect's not working. I already forget what it is. HKF405. HKF405. There we go. HKF405. Not a good sign. HKF405 Beta Flight 4.2. See what Google can find. Hey, look, something in GitHub. Well, that's Maytech F405. Let's see. Let's try this. Let's try that. Like, I'm wondering if it's in GitHub. Let's go to the Betaflight GitHub. HKF405. Oops. I wonder if it'll run on the regular F405. Like, I wonder if you can just use the like the Maytech F405 target, for example. You know, like this Maytech F405 target. I wonder if that'll work. You know where you should ask is in oops, nope. In the Craters group. Hold on. I guarantee you that they've been talking about it in there. So on Facebook, FPV crate. Hold on, let me find the name of the group. We want groups and it's not finding it. FPV Craters, there it is. FPV Craters. Join this group. I guarantee you somebody's talked about it. Let me actually do a quick search. HKF405. Or not. What's the name of the flight controller again? Let's search for F4530D. Okay. I don't. I can, I don't know. Let me message them. Hold on. Facebook, really? You're just gonna not work? Why there isn't a Beta Flight 4.2 target for the HackRC F4530D flight controller that came in a box a month or two ago. Okay, cool. I'll let you know what they say. Chris Croft says, by the way, ELRS devs hate the beta FPV stuff. Great! Well, this was free, so I'm going to use it. Flybridge says, you don't have to justify yourself to do something because it's the new thing. You know what you like and are comfortable with. Just do your thing. Happy flying, buddy. I appreciate that, Flybridge. Yeah, I mean, that's typically my attitude, but, you know, when that gets pushed over and over and over and over again, eventually I just kind of throw my hands up and go, you know what? Everybody else is right, and I'm just dumb. So, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to get challenged all the time, but hey, I signed up for it, I guess, you know? Nobody's forcing me to be a live streamer. I choose to continue to do this, so I have to be willing to justify myself over and over and over and over and over again, even though I get super sick of it. Kevin Sumner says, get a ceramic antenna ELRS RX. Lightest I've seen is 0.44 grams. Yeah, I have a bunch in a couple of shopping carts. I'm just waiting to get some more money coming in so I can do an order or two where I throw those on there. Brandon's Baked Bean says, CiottiFPV recommends that 1 watt beta FPV module. He says it has all the features and everything works as intended now. Well, that's pretty rad. Frank Nicholas says, if you want to give away the beta FPV ELRX RS, I'll give you a Ghost RX. I already... RX. Oh, Ghost RX. I'm actually moving away from... I'm not going to stay on Ghost. I mean, there's just, like... Realistically, ELRS is gonna just shit stomp everything. So I appreciate the offer. If I was gonna stay on Ghost, I would totally take you up on that, Frank. But Ghost is just a little bit of a yeah. It's a little bit of an experiment, although not much of an experiment. It's more like if I have a bunch of videos on my channel that have Ghost in the title, there's a bunch of SEO value. So. Metalderton says, was there also a Go-To mount for the 250 you were showing a while ago? Any news on that? Matt is still working on a couple of the changes. He's a super busy dude, but yeah, he's on it. He's making some of the changes. It'll be available at some point. Looks like Riot9 is talking about creating hexes. He must be interested in witchcraft. 661FPV says, you want to sell filters just under peak FFT, not just over. So apparently, that's not true, according to Quad66. Watch his most recent... so you have to know that the peak FFTs I'm getting on a rig that is much... more powerful and higher KV than the rig that he did this testing on. The peak FFTs that I'm getting are like 480, 490, I want to say. And then with in his video, he talks about how basically he's got a rig that's on 18,000 kV motors where I'm on 25,000, and at 18,000 kV motors, he wanted the top of the dynamic filters up at like 600, and he said for more powerful setups, you might it might have been 800. Basically, he was saying that I would want the top of my dynamic filter for my specific setup to be up at like 1,000, basically. And I'm going to do that pretty much no matter what, because up in those super high frequencies, you're not creating much extra latency. So yeah, it was when I started to move the top of that dynamic filter down, I was kind of like, why am I doing this? It's extra bit of safety leaving it, but I'll try it. Very little very little benefit to doing that. So I'm just going to go back and give it a little bit extra just so I'm covered. Kevin Sumner says, speaking of processor limits, I've heard a rumor that the F411 processor used on all the Tiny Whoop boards isn't going to be supported after Betaflight 4.3. It wouldn't surprise me because we're starting to really run out of power on it. 4.3 is so good that maybe Tiny Whoops won't need to go beyond 4.3. Maybe there won't be any real benefits. But I don't know. We'll see. Frank Nicholas says, ELRS has nothing to do with processor usage. It talks to the flight controller via serial, same as any other RX protocol. ELRS uses the same serial communications protocol as Crossfire. That's wild. I've heard from multiple people that that ELRS is specifically really hard on the Tiny Whoops. Damn. I am often, I don't know how I get so much stuff wrong. It's like incredible how much I learn from chat, and how misinformed I am previous to chat. Yeah, my God. Okay, so there you guys go. 661FPV says, looking forward to your opinion on the 0702s. Only opinion I would actually trust. Thanks, dude. Schizophrenic FPV says, I bet you $100 DJI makes it behind the church. That would be pretty wild. I've never actually tried flying back there. I've always just assumed that there's no coverage back there. But yeah, I'm going to basically go out with, what I really hope to do is go out with my regular analog setups, DJI, and SharkBite. And I want to just do that test with all three of them. I think that's going to be really, really telling. It's going to be a super, super, super challenging environment for anything to keep up. I wonder if I'll actually, I wonder if I can actually trigger fail-safes back there. That'll be really, really interesting to see. But yeah. Frank Douglas says, JB did not say DJI, it doesn't come back. He specifically stated it doesn't come back as quickly as analog. Please stop the DJI FUD. That is my personal experience. Okay. Ciotti's wrong again. Nothing new there. I'm sure you guys are getting used to it, if not used to it already. Man, it's hard to be this wrong all the time. It's super demoralizing. But yeah, I chose this path. Schizophrenic FPV says, DJI comes back after a few seconds. At black screens is the issue. Frank Nicholas, yep, I know that. Grizz FPV says, running Toka 1505s and arms are good. Grizz, I'm probably not the guy to troubleshoot that. I just don't know shit about shit, so I'm not gonna even try because I'll just get it wrong. Sorry, dude. Frank says DJI gets more blocky and bitrate lowers as it goes to crap, and again, the shot was for testing, not for production. Gamma Gonad says, I'm not just a DJI lover. I fly plenty of analog. Analog does do some things better. I personally trust DJI more, though. In many situations, I would never try analog. DJI loves multipath. Frank Douglas dropping a link to a frequency chart. Chuck King says, sorry not to plug, just wanted your opinion. Drone co-built, not me, just to clarify. Also not a plug, sorry. No worries, Chuck. I don't even know what you're talking about, to be honest. Metal Dixon says, I thought the Hack RC was the one you sent me from last week's giveaway. Maybe it's a different one. I'm not sure, Metal. If it is and there's a problem with it, just let me know and I'll like PayPal you whatever the value is. Whatever. I'll make it right. Schizophrenic says, let me know what you want to test and we'll test it within an inch of its life. Not sure what that means, to be honest. Schizophrenic says, mine didn't come with that target. Oh. Well, that's weird. What target did yours come with? It takes a target called Maytech F405. Okay, so yeah, Maytech F405 is a target that there's 4.2. Well, I'm not going to say that because I'll be wrong for the 7 billionth time. Let's actually take a look. Maytech F405, right? I'll be damned. Why is there not a newer... Well... Oh, okay. I see what's going on here. I think, and I could very well be, I'm probably wrong. But, so this is 4.2.9, so this is a custom hex. So there's a custom hex for it, and the custom hex is HK-F405. I don't know if maybe like an early run of these went out previous to that custom hex or something like that, but I'll let you know what they say, because yeah, you can probably get this hex from somewhere. Well, hold on. HKF405. Maybe if they have it on their website. Let's take a look here. Hack RC. It's not on here. That's the F7. It's the F722. Yeah, well, there's the name of the custom hex that you need. Hopefully, FPV Crate will get back to me and say, hey, here's a link with the hex, and then, so, yeah. It's the best I can do. Hopefully that helps. Probably not. Demenis says, I have the beta FPV ELRS stuff. It works, but updating it can be a pain. The TX module doesn't have Wi-Fi. Wow. Why would they do that? That's weird. I'm not used to having Wi-Fi anyway, so I won't miss what I don't know exists. Monitorton says, I think the processor issue with ELRS is specifically with the SPI receivers, where all the RX code is actually in beta flight. Yeah, that's what I've heard too, Metal. But so I don't know. I don't know what to believe now. Is what you and I have heard right, or is Frank right? I don't know. 661 FPV says, filters are complicated, but you set gyro 2 to 1000 hertz and determ to just under FFT. Low pass filters out noise above the number it's set to. So I haven't done anything with gyro 2. I've been doing everything with the dynamic so far. But I think that's what Quad 66 was talking about, was the top of the dynamic. I'm probably wrong though. June Logo says, we still love you. Thanks, dude. Remy Tim says, you're good. DJI takes too long to come back for a reasonable pilot to be able to keep the drone in the air that whole time. And Tommy's footage cut with no pixelation first. Scary stuff. Yeah, I mean, like, having OSD, you know, Joshua was talking about how if you go below 10 megabits per second, you're in like the super duper danger zone. When I'm flying professional gigs, I mean, sometimes I'll look at and I guess on a range test, you should kind of be staring at the OSD, but man, DJI's OSD is awful. Like, it's all the way on the bottom. You don't get any warnings. You know, their OSD is really dog shit. So yeah, I mean, I can, and that is, again, one of the many problems that I have with DJI. But yeah, I should probably just ignore all that. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure I'm making way too much out of it. GrizzFPV says, all good, man. None of us are perfect. I appreciate your insight. Schizophrenic FPV says, we appreciate you. Riot9 says, don't worry. We have a 4.3 hex for it now. Alright, it's 11:44. I can't wait for this shit show to be over. But I guess I'll do a little bit of work. You know what? I give. I'm not gonna. OBS is being a dick. I don't want to have to fuck with this. I'm gonna end this one early. Thanks for hanging, guys. I'll try to. I'll try to stream tomorrow night. Here comes some flying and some copyright-free music. Oh, now I can't go to this scene without it triggering this. Hold on, it's going to trigger the song real quick.